And welcome back for another week of talk about Citadel Bulldog football, basketball, and other sports and other happenings at the Military College of South Carolina. This show is brought to you in part by Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, a full-service plumbing, gas, drain, and sewer company serving the Columbia, South Carolina area. You can call them at 803-761-0167. You can go to their website, franklinplumbing.sc.com, and learn a lot more about Franklin Plumbing. And there is their logo, and they do a wonderful job. Franklin Plumbing SC. If you stop by the website right now, they've got a $250 off sewer replacement with the expert service available and emergency service available Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. It's franklinplumbing.sc.com. Look them up, Citadel-led company. They do a wonderful job. We try to do a wonderful job here at Citadel Gray Line. Hello, welcome back to a show. I want to apologize. As you get slightly past 18 years old, sometimes you have to do things like go to doctor's appointments. And so because of that, yours truly had to push the normal Wednesday recording of this show back a day. So for all of you waiting and chomping at the bit to see our show, I apologize, but here we are, and thank you for taking the time to be on a delayed status this edition of Citadel Gray Line. We got a lot to talk about. Nice win over Valdosta State, and Western Carolina comes to town. Andrew Miller of the Charleston Post and Courier, thank you for hanging out with us once again, and I apologize for the slow start here this week.
No problem at all, John. We all have busy lives, especially this time of year.
Yes, and I'm not sure if you've hit the 18-year-old mark or not, but, one day you'll understand what happens when you get a little older.
I was going to say, I think I'm older than both of you, so yeah.
Yes, you might be, but that's okay. We don't discriminate on age here on this show. When you say both of you, you're talking about this guy, the big guy, Thomas Scruggs, our little lad. Welcome back to the show, sir. How about those dogs?
How about those dogs, John?
Yeah.
Good win last week in the rain-drenched field at Johnson Haygood Stadium.
Yeah. Yes, I'm glad you said that because, Andrew, I should have mentioned, what in the world's been going on in the Lowcountry weather-wise, and is everything okay now?
Now it's beautiful, bright, sunny skies today. I think the high today is going to be 75, low in the upper 50s. I always tell anybody who wants to visit me that don't come in the summer. You can come in the spring if you want, but really from the end of September until Thanksgiving, that's the best time to come to Charleston. But yeah, had a nor'easter come through there last weekend. The reason that the cadets did not march down Haygood Avenue, they came in the other way, was because the corner of Haygood, I can't remember what the name of the other street is right there that runs along Joe Riley Park, but it was absolutely flooded. It would have been knee-deep water for those guys to have to traverse to get to the normal way that they get to the stadium.
Well, good call there by whoever made that call in the administration. Hood Construction also helps us build the show each week. For 39 years, Hood Construction has been making beautiful projects come alive in South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and more. They take a holistic approach to their clients' business and project objectives in order to find the best value solutions. Go to the website, hoodconstruction.com right now, meet the Hood team, and view these projects that we said are up and going across the state and beyond. Build it the right way with Hood Construction. Hoodconstruction.com is the website address once again for you to go check out their great work. All right, great work done by Maurice Drayton and the Bulldogs as Valdosta State, a sneaky game. You could call it a trap game this past weekend, a rain-soaked game with a team that played for a national championship at the Division II status last year. The Dogs didn't, take the bait, Andrew, and they ended up looking pretty good in this victory over the Blazers.
Yeah, certainly for the first half, they looked. I thought they looked really good, scoring on their first 4 or 5 possessions, and then as Maurice Drayton said, they kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit, and that was kind of one of the concerns that he had. Now leading into the Western Carolina game is he's worried that the team can't handle success, and there is something to be said about that. But overall, I thought a really good performance on both sides of the ball. especially in the running game, second 300-yard game. Sebastian Boyle looks like the redshirt freshman looks like he might be a quote-unquote deep threat from the running game, a guy who can bust big chunk plays. He had that 72-yard run in the first half that I really thought kind of, even though they'd scored a time or two up there, I thought that really kind of set the tone for the Bulldogs offense. And for people who were a little disappointed that they didn't complete more passes, anybody who was there, it was rainy, it was windy, it was probably the worst conditions that people could throw in. And that's probably why we saw Valdosta State not throw as many times as they normally do.
Well, as we mentioned, a great win for the Citadel, 38-14, convincing dub at Johnson-Haygood Stadium. The weather may not have been beautiful. The performance on the field was pretty good looking. I do have to criticize the uniform combination. I like the jersey. Not so big of a fan of that combo with the navy pants. But hey, when you win 38-14, I guess you can't say much, can you, Andrew?
No, that was a good, solid win again. But again, one of the funny things about Murray Strayton is that he always talks about there's more meat left on the bone. And he really felt like he goes, I'm not going to apologize for winning, and we're going to celebrate winning. And that was one of the other weird kind of things, is that they really weren't celebrating until Murray Strayton got in the locker room. He thought it'd be noisier, more boisterous in there. Everyone was kind of like waiting to see how his reaction would be. And then you saw the post game, and everybody was celebrating. But it took them a little while, because they were like, they knew they didn't play their best, but to have a 24-point win over a team that did play for the national championship last year, that's a nice, solid win for you. But there were some things that they need to build on and need to improve upon if they're going to beat Western Carolina this week, which is going to be a really tall task, especially after what Western Carolina did to Furman 52-7. That was an annihilation. And this team has got a ton of confidence coming into this game on Saturday.
Yes, they do. Thomas, did you like that continued development of the option offense?
I did, John. I mean, we had almost 400 all-purpose yards. Most of those were on the ground, like Andrew said. So, but we, as far as passing goes, we better get ready for Western Carolina. They're ranked first in the conference in passing statistics. So that's going to be a tall order for our secondary.
Right.
Coming in next Saturday.
And what happened?
But,
go ahead. I'm sorry. Finish your thought.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
No. Go. You got the floor, sir.
Yeah. No, I said last week there's no reason not to beat Valdosta State, even with all their Division II accolades. And I think what we saw Saturday was what we expected. Maybe not a 24-point victory, but I think, like Andrew said, we need to find joy in winning. That's what old Dabo says up there in Clemson all the time, when he's chastising his fan base. So certainly we need to find joy in winning. We've won half our games this year. We're 2-1 in the SoCon. We're tied with Furman. So we need to have some joy as an alumni and a fan base. Because like I said, this may be our toughest remaining game besides in Oxford, at home, against Western Carolina, maybe at Furman. But this is one that concerns me.
Yeah, and I was going to say, how often does Furman get their brains beat out? That doesn't happen too often. Even when they weren't so good a couple of years ago, they didn't have those kind of embarrassing losses. So Western scares me. And Andrew, their quarterback they've got was sitting out the first couple of games, but he's now in full motion.
Yeah, he was suspended for academic reasons. Don't know specifically what they were, but missed the first few games. Western Carolina goes 0-3. Kind of off to a pretty shaky start, even though when they played Gardner Webb, they got up on him big and then just gave the game away at the end. But yeah, Tyron Dixon, he's the preseason Southern Conference Offensive Player of the Year for good reason. In the 4 games he's come back, they're 4-0. He's thrown for 1,607 yards, 17 touchdowns. And to me, the biggest statistic is 0. Count them, 0 interceptions. So he's making good decisions, quick decisions with the ball. They've got some really good speed and skilled players out on the perimeter. To me, this game's going to come down to how well the Citadel tackles in space, because if they don't tackle well in space, it's going to be a very, very long day for them.
Yeah, going to be a tough challenge for the Dogs. This game this week is going to be a 2 o'clock Johnson Haygood start, and this game is going to be another chance to get a SoCon win, and the Citadel still has not had a home SoCon win, so that could really help a lot of things out if they can get the victory this Saturday. Let me let you know that while we're doing this, Thomas, by the way, tilt your camera down while we have taken you off the air, so we have a more beautiful shot of you, sir. Knob Knowledge is back. And actually this week in his presser, Coach Drayton mentioned the answer to a question from a couple of weeks ago that I never brought back up because we didn't have any correct guesses. But if you'll go back a couple of weeks on the program, I mentioned in the 1988 season, which would have been Charlie Taft's second year at the helm in Charleston, the Citadel had a really big win at home against the Naval Academy, the last time a so-called Power 4-5 or FBS opponent that was a true FBS opponent back in the 80s came to Johnson Haygood Stadium. Citadel beat them, and a quarterback of that team had a great year that year in his final year playing for the Citadel. I asked the question back then, who was the quarterback, and the answer, which nobody texted at 843-779-8496, answer, Gene Brown. Does that name sound familiar to you, Andrew?
Yeah, I was around when Gene played, and I remember the controversy that led to him not being able to play the following year. And I think Wofford kind of turned the Citadel into the NCAA about this. It was a whole big thing, and it led to the Sean Graves. I didn't want to wear a monkey suit comment that he made before one of the games that he played against Sean Graves, the Wofford quarterback there. Yeah, Gene was a fantastic quarterback, and it's a shame that he didn't get to play another season, because I think he played like 5 plays too many or something like that, or got in at the end of a game at garbage time, and that's why he couldn't redshirt. He couldn't use one of those years as a redshirt, but he should have had another year of eligibility.
I see. Well, I've actually been in touch with Gene Brown, class of 1989, and we're hoping to get him on here soon. He's had I think, a very good business career since leaving the 171 Moultrie address, so maybe we can get some good old core guests on here soon. I've got a really cool guest, a 1970s graduate who went into coaching after his playing days. Dave Salazzo is supposed to be our guest next week, so you probably remember that name, Andrew.
I know Dave well. Dave, when I was covering the Citadel back in the 90s, he was their defensive line coach, if I'm not mistaken, or a linebacker coach, or one or the other. Great guy. He went back to Connecticut to coach his son, and now he's back in Charleston, or he was over the summer, because he was working for the Mount Pleasant Recreation Department. And when I would go out on my runs around Laurel Hill, he would be out there, and so I would talk to him. Love Dave. He's a great guy.
All right. Well, he's next week's Band of Gold Spotlight. But back to Knob Knowledge. Let me ask a question. We've got a new question in from seniorprivate.com. The question is, now a parking lot, in 1959, this field was named after a colonel who during the American Revolution recruited, trained, and led what would become the first United States cavalry unit. Who is the answer to this? And if you are the first person to text this to 843-779-8496, you will get a patch pack. Just like in the days of Boy Scouts, when it was the Boy Scouts, you'll get a patch pack from seniorprivate.com, which those patches include, and I've got one, a big red patch, a Lords of Discipline patch, a Country Club of the South, I think it's what it's called, a Citadel hockey team patch, Andrew, and a Don't Tread on Me big red type patch. All that from seniorprivate.com. Just text that answer of the correct name of that parking lot turned, who's that named after, on the Citadel campus, 843-779-8496. You do that, and you get a really nice gift courtesy of seniorprivate.com. Each week on the show, IPS Packaging is our title sponsor, this family-owned, Citadel-led powerhouse in the industry, has been at work since 1976 with lots of decades of great work. They stand tall as a leader in the packaging products, automation equipment, and top-notch service industry. IPS Packaging and Automation, they do a great job in the countless businesses that they do work with across the United States. And they've been supporting Citadel Sports a long time. Discover what they can do for you. Go to the website ipack.com or call them at 800-277-7007, 800-277-7007. IPS Packaging and Automation, a supporter of Citadel Bulldog Athletics, and we appreciate the many years that they've been a part of this program as we brought you countless hours of Citadel coverage here, courtesy of IPS Packaging. Okay, Andrew, game this week, Western Carolina. We're going to sound out of here. Oh, the dogs are barking.
Sorry. We're about to get video bombed here by my dog.
That's fine. That's fine. We need some excitement anyway. Your thoughts as Western Carolina comes to town, Andrew, how to come out of here with a win?
Yeah, again, one of the things that I think the formula for beating Western Carolina, and Brent Thompson didn't figure it out, but he had a great game plan when he went up there, 2-3 years ago, up to Western Carolina in 2022. And the only reason I remember the date is that's the same day that my daughter got married, and I actually missed that game. But they went to Western Carolina. They had the ball for like 31, 32 minutes. They just chewed up the clock. The Western Carolina offense hardly ever got on the field. And that's going to be part of the game plan. The Bulldogs have to control the line of scrimmage offensively. They have to possess the ball for long drives. And I think that's really the best way to beat them. You keep that offense off the field as much as you can. And then when the Citadel defense is playing, they're going to have to do two things. They're going to have to tackle in space, and they just can't give up the big chunk plays, these big plays that this offense is known for. Now, Tyron Dixon set an NCAA record against Wofford. He's completed 46 straight passes. That's a record at any level in NCAA Division I, Division II, Division III. But he did it by dinking and dunking. And the Citadel defense cannot get frustrated by that. You're probably not going to see him sacked a ton because he's getting rid of the ball very quickly. But again, tackling in space, keeping everything in front of you, making them go down the field and put 8, 10, 12, play drives together. Just don't give up those big chunk plays, tackle in space, and I think they're going to be fine.
All right. And what about our other analyst, Thomas Scruggs? What do you say about this matchup this weekend?
I agree with Andrew. As far as time of possession, keeping the ball away from their offense. I also think that if their quarterback has all the time in the world to throw, it's going to be a long afternoon in Johnson-Haygood. The dinking and the dunking, like Andrew said, you keep everything in front of you. You got to tackle them, when they're out on the perimeter. You shut the perimeter down, just make them beat you down the middle of the field. That's the recipe, I think, to lead to any kind of success against them. But like I said, it's going to be a tall order for us. And I think really the biggest key is hang on to the football. The longer we keep it, the less opportunity they have to score.
Thank you.
To me, third down is going to be critical, absolutely critical. Getting off the field defensively on third down, forcing them to punt. That to me is going to be huge.
All right, we'll write all this down and share it with the team, and hopefully they'll get the victory this weekend. As hopefully Johnson-Haygood Stadium will have less water in the area on this football Saturday. Anything else sports-wise before we cut out of here, Andrew?
No, not for me. Not today.
All right. We appreciate Hayes, who's chimed in, and he didn't like the numbers on the helmet this past weekend. That's something. If you want to share your thoughts on anything Citadel-related, citadel@yall.com is our email address. Our number, 843-779-8496. And don't forget, with Andrew, he's at @APMiller_P&C. You can catch him there with his great work. Guys, we're going to cut out short today. Thank you for the delay, for sticking with us. We had a delayed start this week, but we'll be back with our usual Wednesday time next week, hopefully talking about a big win over those Catamounts. Fellas, have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, John. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, John. Have a
All
great
right.
weekend.
And thank you all for tuning in, Citadel Greyline.